Hey everyone, welcome back to Automation. So today is another one of those days where I kind of just have an idea and I'm gonna roll with it and see what happens, and we're gonna find out if it's a good idea or if it's a terrible one, and odds are it's probably somewhere in between. You're noticing here that I have a lot of random cars in my inventory or car manager in Automation, and those are cars that have yet to be reviewed for the current subscriber showcase. If you're watching this video, I'm probably streaming right now, so go and check it out. I'll be reviewing some of these cars in BeamNG, driving a sort of Baja stage event thing. Not these cars specifically, but some other ones that I've reviewed previously. So yeah, definitely worth checking out if you're interested. But today is going to be a fun day because I've decided that I want to take a Honda Civic, just like Honda Civic, and then put in an engine very similar to what you might find in a 2004-ish Honda Odyssey van, so a 3.5 liter J series Honda engine. We'll use some base specs from that, and then I'm going to tune it up to 4 million, and we're going to see what kind of power it makes and if I can do something cool with it. I don't know. It's just a dream of mine, I guess. But first, a quick message. I'm looking pretty scruffy. Let's fix that with today's sponsor, Henson Shaving. I personally enjoy using an over-engineered chunk of machined aluminum on my face every time I shave, and I think you will too. Made in Canada, no subscription service, just good quality metal and craftsmanship. Pick up yours today with the link in the description. Use my code for a free pack of 100 blades with your purchase. Just be sure to add them to your cart and throw Automotive Flux into the coupon box. Every purchase supports the channel, so thank you. And now I'm back to looking how I should, like a dad. So first thing we have to do is find our Civic body. I was thinking 90s Civic for this because it could be a lot of fun to do it that way, and I'm having the tech pool up to 2020 just to give us the most amount of possible options for weirdness, but we're gonna have to scroll down quite significantly to get to where I need to be. Aha, look at this. I think I may have found our Civic. Unless I can find something different than that, I believe this is the closest that we can get to this sort of retro-styled Civic body, especially the CRX style here, but for now, we'll go for the hatchback. So we have a 1984 CRX/Civic body, and we may as well make it interesting. This is not going to be perfectly realistic to what a actual Civic has, by the way. I just am going to slap some stuff on it and think close enough. Basically, front transverse engine is what we're going for. I don't know what they had back in these days. We're just going to go semi-trailing arm on the back. Most likely that's close to what the setup would be, but double wishbone on the front, a little bit better handling. This is where things get fun. So the J-Series engine that I'm modeling this off of specifically is the J35A4. I'm getting the stats off Wikipedia. There's nothing crazy going on here. V6, it's a 60-degree V6. Now, the Wikipedia page that I'm reading doesn't say if it's aluminum or cast or whatever. We're just going to say it's an aluminum block, and yeah. So with a bore of 89 and a stroke of 93, we should have 3.5-ish liters, pretty darn close, and it's actually too big to fit into the Civic. Ooh, this is a problem. But if I change to McPherson strut, it should be, yeah, it's good. Okay, so with McPherson strut on the front, we actually have space. I'm making sacrifices in the name of getting the right engine, because I care about that more. So it's a single overhead cam with 24 valves, which would mean 4 valves per cylinder, because then that would be 4 times 6, which is 24, and we'll just go for an aluminum head as well. Oh yeah, this thing does have VTEC, so we'll try and emulate that too. Because I'm trying to build maximum power, I'm just going to put on the best of the best stuff that I can get here. And I'm also going to go with anticipation of super high quality materials, at least on the engine, to give us the best chance we have. From stock, this engine makes 240 horsepower at 5,400 RPM and 328 Newton meters of torque at 4,500 RPM. But this is where all the similarities with the actual engine sort of just disappear, because I'm going to do whatever the heck I want, basically giving it the best of the best components and seeing what works best. Also, turbos, 2 turbos, smart boost, yes please. This is going to be a big boy. The actual engine is multi-port fuel injection, which would be multi-port EFI, so I guess we'll go with that. I may have to go up to direct injection just to get more power, but we'll put on a ridiculous intake and hope for the best. Now, I've heard a little bit of a trick, and that is that the best fuel in the game currently is, by a long shot, nitromethane, and there's only one option, 132 RON. Basically what this does is it gives us as much power as we can possibly get, so much so that people are saying that nitromethane will pretty much double the horsepower of any other fuel. It's totally broken in game, and I'm curious to find out how that works. There we go, those are big turbos once we put the tubular headers on there. Dual exhaust, none of this stuff that just gets in the way of our performance, and craziness. Okay, what are we rocking so far? 1,607 horsepower. Keep in mind this is all going through the front wheels of a Honda Civic. I'm gonna hit the AI tune for power and see what it'll do, and then okay, it couldn't do it. That's a problem, actually. Yeah, alright, well, I'll just start moving stuff around and see what happens. First thing we can probably do is address some of these issues here. Headers a little bit restrictive. Increase the size of those and the exhaust as well, although I already did. RPM limit can be quite a bit higher than it currently is. We can actually go all the way up to 9,500 RPM before it starts to break down, and as you can see, that makes a huge difference in power. Did I say 95? Because the answer is actually 91 with our pistons, so yeah, pretty good. This is my setup generally to try and make maximum performance. It's always billet steel. I almost always use forged. Lightweight forged is okay in terms of RPM, but you can get more max torque out of just forged, so that's what I go with. Alright, you're ready to see some incredible gains, basically race preset, and 100% knocking. That's beautiful. Actually, no, we didn't gain any power at all. What the heck? I've decided that I genuinely only care about the power number, and the curve doesn't matter to me at all anymore, so yeah, I'm just gonna start cranking it up and see what happens. Basically, I'm gonna cap the RPM limit here, and then I'm just gonna go for it. First, let's see if the AI will do anything now. Nope. Next thing to do is to increase the springs and lifters, and that's actually not doing anything either. Compression, probably? Oh yeah. Okay, yes, please. 2,000 horsepower and counting. So we've actually reached the torque threshold for the pistons and the conrods. You can see it's 2170, and we're actually at 2150 newton meters, so not great, actually. I've unfortunately messed myself up a little bit. Let's go direct injection, a little bit more power out of that. Manifold size, a lot more power out of that too. And again, with the reliability issues, here we go. Our headers are a little restrictive. I'm just going to make them as large as they can be. See what happens. More problems. There is a really weird bump in the curve here, which is not good. It also has a number of other bumps after that. This is not a reliable engine by any means, but that's okay. Messing with the ignition timing is not actually doing anything with this engine. It's basically just as it was. It's like very, very small changes there. I'm going to risk the piston stress in order to get the RPM even higher. 9,500 RPM is very nice. And again, with that thing I was saying before, I only care about big power, so down comes the VVL profile and hopefully up once again. I want to hit 3,000. 3,000 horsepower is the goal. Oh yes, here we go. 3,000 horsepower, insane piston stress because of the issues with RPM and also the issues with the torque being way too high. If only we could drop the torque and increase the power, like that would make a pretty good difference in this case. 3,050 horsepower is ridiculous. Shall we just keep going for fun and see when it cracks? Higher and higher until the conrods failed due to excessive torque. Rest in peace, we need some billet steel stuff. But yeah, 3,300 before she gives up. I'm going to down tune it a little bit, just to around 3,000 horsepower-ish. Wow, that screwed everything up. Okay, there we go, 3,002 horsepower. I think the nitromethane powered Honda Odyssey engine is good to go. Those turbos are absolutely gigantic. Just look at the size of the turbos versus the size of the block. The boost that's getting pumped into this is absolutely incredible. Oh man, those are like train turbos. So the CRX body was actually growing on me while we were using it there, and I guess I'm gonna use it for this because just look at the bubble on top of this. It doesn't quite look right. I'm not sure if I can change it. Yeah, we're going CRX. I think that's probably the best option here. In order to make this thing actually work, it's gonna take some extensive modification. So first thing we're gonna do is wide body it just in the stock stuff here. Other than that though, everything else looks okay. Okay, so the design of this car is going to be another playground for me as we explore some various options. We have a lot of different things that we can do, including but not limited to having it be multiple different shades of colors and things. Like I could make the bumpers plastic, which actually doesn't look too bad, so I might do that. Yeah, the two-tone black and gray isn't bad, and that's bottom plastic look as well. But I have some ideas. You may remember a long time ago, Mighty Car Mods, I almost said multi-car mods, but I mean both are true. They made a Golf that was basically riced out completely, and I remember watching it at that point, and I was like, man, I want to do this to a car. They had the rusted fenders, sticker bomb. They had those racing wheels that they put on it as well. I wanted some of those so bad. Anyways, let's try and make that happen. Okay, so I haven't said anything for like 20 minutes in my recording, and it's because I've been just kind of designing a CRX. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good just out of the gate here. I'm almost afraid to rice it because I've been like very steadily working on this, trying to make it look decent, and then here we go, it's like, okay, yeah, time to ruin it, let's do it. But I have some ideas. I'm gonna make this all nice, then I'm gonna copy it, and then we'll ruin it just because I don't want to ruin my time investment so far. I think it looks really cool though. I had to make a bit of a sacrifice on this just because I couldn't, I mean, I spent like 10 minutes trying to get lights to work in there, but it doesn't quite round the way I want it to. I don't know. Maybe I can put something to cover it. Let me try that real quick. But yeah, so this is the car so far. I'm gonna do a back end, gonna do a top, and then let's ruin it. So, fun story. I believe that my mom actually used to have one of these. I should ask her just to be double sure which type of Civic it was. She was a fan of Civics back in the day, back in the 90s. I was also born in the 90s coincidentally, so ladies, that's how you get a man. Oh my goodness, don't take my advice. Around the time I was born, my mom had I believe it was a CRX, I think it was a 90s one, so a little bit more modern than this one, and it was stolen and burned. So that was unfortunate, but that's how my parents ended up putting down a down payment on their very first house, and they were able to move out of an apartment because of it. So somehow that CRX still lives in memory as the car that got burned, and that's how we got our house, or that's how they got their house, i.e. the house I grew up in. Okay, on to the back. So the example I'm looking at has cool louvers, which is very period correct for the 80s, but I don't know, should we do it? I guess I can try. Honestly, I can't get these things to ever work nicely in automation. They just never quite come out the way that you want them to. The taillights on this car are very interesting. It's like actually five different parts kind of combined together to make some weirdness, and I don't know how I'm gonna replicate that. So let me see what I can do. Thankfully, these things here do have quite a few options. The split ones in particular are incredibly useful. I think that's what we're gonna need. Something like that, but obviously nicer. Oh yeah, I went ahead and put the engine in the car just to see what it looks like, and we're gonna have some problems. It doesn't actually fit. Oh my goodness, there's a turbo entirely out of the front area. That is awesome, but also really funny. Immediately before I do anything, we're gonna hide the intake, and at least we have just a turbo. Look at that exhaust coming straight off the turbos all the way out the back. And it's supposed to be dual, but I've only got a single, so let me fix that too. Okay, I'm gonna say that that's done. The back end, ooh, it's not quite up to the standards I was hoping it would be. It just doesn't look quite right, although I did spend some time on it. So this is the CRX in its current form. I made the exhaust transparent and I hid the turbos and basically everything else in order to get rid of the stuff that was sticking out of there. It's a bit of a sleeper at the moment. So this is the exact same thing, only a cloned variant, so I have a backup of this. Let's make it really, really bad. So manual, I don't really know what transmissions you can put on one of these J-series engines. I'm going to assume there's a 6-speed available. We'll have to find out, I guess. Somebody in the comments will know. Estimated top speed is only 100. That is worrying. Let's do LSD, and with the semi-slicks, we're going to need maximum front size. That is not very big at all. Wow. You can put a lot fatter wheels in the back, but it honestly doesn't matter at all at this point, because it's front-wheel drive. 195, oh boy. Let's do carbon ceramic 4-piston discs in the front and 2-piston in the back. We're gonna need a race diffuser most likely to get this thing off of the we'll keep it from flying off the pavement too fast. I don't know whether to go realistic here or not, but we'll go bench seat with a sort of standard interior and standard cassette. That probably makes the most sense. I'm going to give it ABS just because otherwise it's going to be a terrible vehicle. It's going to be absolutely awful if it doesn't have ABS. We need at least something. Okay, I was worried it wasn't going to load there for a second, but it does, just barely. Brakes suffer from brake fade. Everything is a disaster with this car drive-wise, and I'm curious to see how that goes. Okay, it's time for our racing modifications. This is going to be different than the usual, so as low as possible is probably the best thing to do. Back over to fixtures, I'm going to change the wheels for like some really sporty stuff like that. Actually, yeah, these, no. Yeah, okay, I've decided. The exhaust I put on there is just not going to work for something like this. We need the ultimate fart can. This is a Honda Civic after all, come on now. I'm going to go back into the paint and I'm going to paint the rims red. Oh, that's awful actually. Nope, never mind, I'm not painting them red. We'll just paint them black. That probably looks better. You can tell the iridescent exhaust pipes are doing some work there. That's really funky. Kind of fun to see actually. Back into the exhaust, I'm just going to paint it like black so we can see it hanging out there. And over to fixtures again, we're going to put the turbos back on because I want it to stick out as much as humanly possible. That looks pretty darn ridiculous. What I'm going to do for the riced version is I'm going to cut out a hole where that is. This might not work quite as I want it to because it won't cut through fixtures. Actually, it will cut through fixtures if you put it up in enough layers. Okay, there's a massive cut in the front bumper now, and the entire grille at the front is gone, but I mean, it's still there in spirit. The turbo is sticking out. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's the riced version for sure. Now, the wheels are a big problem because not being able to widen the fenders anymore means that they're going to be extremely small, and we're going to continue to have ridiculous wheel spin issues. I don't know what to think about that. It's going to be a bit of a disaster, so there's not much to say. A carbon fiber diffuser is now part of the car, and it doesn't really make that much sense, but it's in there. The wing is too small. We need something bigger, so yeah. Yeah. Well, that was a pretty mild racing, but I feel like it's time to go ahead with the actual drivetrain. 270 whatever is not enough. We're gonna have to increase that significantly, and that also means that the gearing should improve. Actually, it can do 769. I might just leave it all the way up there because it is entirely possible that we reach that top speed, but gearing on this thing has to be like flawless because right now I can tell you already, wheel spin in every gear except number 6. Oof, that's bad. Okay, I'm shortening the gears fairly significantly. First gear previously was, yeah, already 100 and something kilometers an hour. Now it's 115. Hopefully that's better. I don't know. I'm going to up the wheel quality because otherwise it's going to be a disaster. It already is a disaster. This thing only has 13-inch rims on it, and yet we're still struggling badly. Actually, you know what? Let's do the classic Honda thing where the rear tires basically don't exist, and the front ones are just massive. It's like a drag car, kind of. I have actually increased the sportiness significantly by making the rear tires super thin and the front tires larger. This car is getting weirder by the second. I'm curious to see if this actually goes anywhere, by the way. I don't suspect that it's going to be particularly good, but I want to try it. So, onto the rest of the gearing. Oh my goodness, hold on a sec. Yeah, there we go. I think I got it back. 15s on the back actually is optimal somehow, with 13s on the front. Okay, 12s maybe? This car's getting strange. On to the brakes. Let's make the size as big as they can be. And then downforce at top speed is too high. Whatever. Aerodynamics, actually brake-wise, yeah. You know, we're actually not doing too bad on brakes. Aerodynamics, we actually have downforce, which is shocking. Usually my cars have 0 downforce. I think everything else here is good. I don't want to optimize for lightness because this thing is going to be a disaster. Other than that, the ride height is as low as it can be, and I think it's ready for BeamNG. Alright, so here is the CRX in BeamNG, because race car. It definitely, you can see I tried it out briefly and it did that. The interesting thing is that the engine sounds have not come in for some reason. Unfortunately, our iridescent color has just gone black. Oh, now it's working. What the heck? Legit, when I first loaded this car in, it had no engine sound, so my fault there. Let's go into first. She's slow to build. Little bit of hesitation in the engine as well. That's probably ESC. See, the engine sounds are so strange. There's something going on with it. And we just lost both the front tires due to them deflating. Yeah, this car is not a driver's car, to say the least. Now, if I turn off ESC just entirely, because I guess we don't really need it, we basically just burn out every single gear, only going 60 kilometers an hour until the tires get eaten. Yeah, to be expected. So where this car can really show its true colors is on the drag strip, and that's why I decided to come to this map. First of all, so we could see if it actually, like, drives, and the second, to see if the drag strip can tame it, at least a little bit. Oh, it's got some problems, come on. Alright, so we're on the strip. I'm gonna start off in first. We have an unlimited grip here, just like that. Hang out in second for a bit. Honestly, I don't think that shifting even makes much of a difference. There's fourth. We can try to just start in sixth maybe and see what happens, but the wheels don't last. Okay, I have a new plan. Going into the vehicle config, we can go to the tuning section, and we can change the tire pressure. It's currently 35. What on earth? Let's make it like 15 on both and see. Well, the back needs to be 15. The front, or sorry, the front needs to be 15. The back can stay at like 30. We'll see what happens with that. Okay, much more grip, hopefully. You can see how little throttle I'm using to actually go here. And they deflated even earlier. What on earth? Okay, there's definitely something wrong with this particular tire setup. But that's kind of to be expected. I don't know, man. These things were never made to go well. Okay, let's do a little bit of a test. I want to try and drive my 3,000 horsepower CRX just as a general car. It seems possible, honestly. You would just never need to leave first gear. And I'm curious as well, only 15% throttle. What is it like if you try and do a top speed pull with this thing? Because the gearing is super long. We might actually be able to make it to, well, 700 kilometers an hour perhaps on a long enough straightaway. There's only one way to find out though. And that's get to a straightaway. Turns out they put slow motion here. Ooh. Now it doesn't take well to massive collisions. Okay, so I'm gonna point myself this way. I'm gonna roll onto it just very slowly. 10% throttle. That's second gear. Third gear, I'm trying to be as gentle as is reasonable. I'm even gonna back off a little bit. I was getting a little anxious with the throttle. Okay, we're struggling a little bit to climb out of third gear, so I'm upping it to 20%. Fourth gear. Keep in mind that this engine has problems, like at high RPM, that's when things go rough. Okay, we need more speed. 30%. We're doing nearly, oh, come on, they deflated at 350 kilometers an hour. Oh, darn. That was getting good, too. That was getting really good. This car looks absolutely ridiculous. I really like the turbo hanging out the front end there. I think that just makes it even cooler. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with the car in general, and I'm curious as to what your thoughts are on it. Do you think it's worthy of the CRX title, or is this just some crappy knockoff thing that I've created that looks nothing like a CRX and you despise with everything that is within your being? If that's the case, you might be a Honda guy, and I apologize. I actually do like Honda cars to some extent. I think they do get a bad rap a lot of the time, but the "can this fit in my Honda" meme is a little too real. I know that's ancient at this point, but yeah, no, people will be modifying these cars constantly. Okay, we're gonna hit Mach 12 by the time we get back to base here. Come on, do something cool off this ramp, 320 kilometers an hour. Yeah, no, this is a good way to end it. Right onto that ledge, please and thank you. Oh, almost landed it. I feel like this is a fitting end for my CRX. I might have said CRZ a few times throughout this, but yeah, no, I mean CRX. The classic, not the weird remake. And with that, I just want to thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. It's been a little bit of work in the background, as all my videos are, and I appreciate you sticking around to the end to see all that work to its final goal and fruition. Yeah, if you liked the sponsors segment, did love dropping a couple hints in there you might have picked up on, but I'll give you some news on that in a bit. Yeah, check out Henson Shaving in the description. Use my code and it'll support me significantly. Yeah, no, they really liked the support last time, and I was surprised to see them back again, but this is my first ever repeat sponsor, and I appreciate them a lot. They're actually quite a good one. You'll probably notice I never do any mobile game sponsorships or anything like that. I'm not keen on those kind of things. I find that to be a little bit sketchy sometimes when creators advertise for these games, because like they don't actually care, and I try to pick the stuff that I actually care about and that I actually like. So that's where this came in, and that's why you might see them again if enough people are interested. All proceeds from sponsorships go directly into my Mitsubishi Evolution Fund, and same thing with all donations on stream or through other means. Maybe I'll get that Evo one day if we have enough. But with that, I say thanks for watching this video. Subscribe if you enjoyed it, like this video if you liked it, and I'll see you again next time. Don't forget to check out the stream, although if you watch this video, you've already missed like 27 minutes of the stream, so man, you're behind. But check out the VOD though, it's gonna be good. I've been enjoying these streams. See you again soon, boys. One more crash. Oh, uneventful. It is time to thank those who have chosen to support this channel via the join button, specifically the V8 tier, which is $5 a month, and it's basically my Patreon. So if you're looking to support, then this is the way to do it. We have Overlord, QT Bear, Terrio1, J Pope, Davis Heister, The German Dude, Sinlab, Baja Blast, Trevor Cousin, Goofy Plays, Phoenix Shark, Nat64, and Mancini Country. Thank you for watching. See you again soon.